Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of today's lecture is very interesting. It is monkeypox, myths and realities which are associated with this infection. Introduction. Monkeypox is an infectious viral disease that can occur in both humans and some other animals. It is spread from handling bushmeat. Bushmeat is the half-cooked raw meat, or an animal bite or scratch, or by body fluids, contaminated objects, or close contacts with an infected person. The early symptoms of monkeypox are flu-like and generalized lymphadenopathy, followed by a rash, which is very similar to smallpox. Duration of symptoms is typically from 2 to 4 weeks. Epidemiology. Monkeypox was first identified in 1958 among the laboratory monkeys in Copenhagen, Denmark. Monkeys are not a natural reservoir of virus, although the first case is identified in monkeys, and that's why its name, but monkey is not the natural reservoir of the virus. The first case in humans were found in 1970 in Congo. Outbreak that occurred in the United States in 2003 was traced to a pet store where rodents were imported from Ghana and were sold. The 2022 outbreak of monkeypox represent the first incidence of widespread community transmission outside Africa, which began in United Kingdom in May 2022, with subsequent cases confirmed in at least 20 countries in Europe, North America, South America, Western Asia, and Australia. The definition and types. Monkeypox is a zoonotic poxvirus infection that can occur in both human and some other animals. The virus is found mainly in the tropical rainforest regions of Central and Western Africa. And there are two recognized distinct types, the serious Congo Basin clade and the milder West African clade. So this is an epidemiological diagram, and this diagram highlights the two different clades of monkeypox. The pink countries, the bigger is Nigeria and other countries on the West African coast. They comprises of a milder Western African clade, and this blue clade area, the main country is Congo here, is the Congo Basin clade, which is a serious infection of monkeypox. And a country in between, which is the Cameroon, it has both the two clades, that is both the Western type and the Congo Basin type. And this gray area are the areas where no case of monkeypox has yet been identified. This includes Pakistan. And the brown areas are those areas which are affected by the 2022 epidemic of monkeypox, which include mainly America and Canada, and Argentine and other, then the UK and most of the European countries, and Australia, and partly in part of Middle East. So the incubation of monkeypox is 5 to 21 days, begins as flu-like prodromal illness, like other viral illnesses or pox viral illnesses. And this prodromal illness is characterized by fever, headache, fatigue, and myalgia. Then this is a unique feature, that is soon after the flu-like illness, the patient develops a generalized lymphadenopathy, which covers cervical, posterior auricular, submandibular, and guinal lymph nodes. The rash as subsequently develop as maculo-papillovesicular rash, which soon become pustular and crusted, and the lesions vary in number from few to several thousands. The rash develop in a single crop, and all the lesions present are in the same stage of evolution that we see in smallpox. So this is an extensive monkeypox infection in African child, and the rash evolves from a papule, then pustule, then crust, and then it dries up and leaves a scar. The lesions characteristically appear on face before appearing elsewhere, such as palms of the hand and soles of the feet, in a centrifugal distribution, much like smallpox. So I would like to make a differentiation here with chickenpox. That is, the main rash of chickenpox is on the trunk and the limbs. So it is called as the centripetal distribution, while the main brunt of smallpox and monkeypox is on the face and on the hands and feet, which is called as the centrifugal distribution. Oral ulcers may also develop, and rash typically lasts for about 10 days. Again, a picture highlighting the pustular rash of the monkeypox. An affected person may remain unwell for 2 to 4 weeks. After healing, the lesions may leave post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation or scar. The disease is limited. Person-to-person spread of infection is reported in disease-endemic Africa. Complication. The secondary infections like pneumonia, sepsis, encephalitis, and loss of vision if severe eye infection is suspected. If infection occurred during pregnancy, stillbirth or birth defects may occur. The disease may be milder in people vaccinated against smallpox in childhood. The virus. Monkeypox in both humans and animals is caused by infection of monkeypox virus, which is a double-strand DNA virus of the genus Orthopox virus of family Poxviridae. Most human cases are acquired from infected animals, though the route of transmission is unknown. The virus is thought to enter the body via an insect bite, via the animal bite, or by direct contact with infected animals' bodily fluids, or respiratory tract, or mucous membrane of eye, nose, or mouth. So the nosocomial spread is not described in transmission of this virus. Once a human is infected, transmission to others, especially family members, is possible. And this will be again by contact with body secretions. There are indications that transmission is occurring during sexual intercourse. Risk factors for transmission include sharing a bed or room and using the same utensils as by the infected person. Further research about the transmission of the strains that are responsible for 2022 outbreak is ongoing, but it is not thought to be different to the other strains of the West African clade. Reservoir. In addition to monkey, the virus is found in the Gambian pouched rats, in dormice, which is a kind of mice, and African squirrels. Use of these animals as food is an important source of transmission to humans. Monkeys are not the main reservoir, contrary to its name, and it is believed that the African rodents, such as one listed above, serve as the actual reservoir of infection. Diagnosis. The clinical differential diagnosis include chickenpox, which is the more prevalent infection nowadays, measles, bacterial skin infections, scabies, and medication-associated allergies. Lymphadenopathy during the prodromal stage of illness must be distinguished this illness from chickenpox or smallpox, which is not associated with such a severe and significant lymphadenopathy. PCR testing of samples taken from the skin lesions is a preferred laboratory test. PCR from the blood usually is inconclusive because virus does not remain very long in the blood. Prevention. Vaccination against smallpox is assumed to provide protection against the human monkeypox infection because they are closely related viruses. Since the routine smallpox vaccination was discontinued, followed by eradication of smallpox, the facility was not available to anyone born after 1977. The United States for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, recommends that persons investigating monkeypox outbreaks and involved in caring for infected individuals or animals should receive a smallpox vaccination to protect against the monkeypox. CDC does not recommend pre-exposure vaccination for unexposed veterinarians, veterinary staff, or animal control officers unless such persons are involved in field investigations. CDC recommends that healthcare providers must use a full set of personal protective equipment before caring of an infected person. This includes gown, mask, goggles, and a filtering disposable respirator such as N95. An infected person should be isolated in preferably a negative air pressure room and at least a private room to keep others from possible contact, although nosocomial spread is not described. The treatment, the European Union and United States, tecovirimat is approved for the treatment of several pox viruses, including monkeypox, as the first-line antiviral treatment if required, alongside the supportive care which include antipyretics, fluid balance, and oxygenation. Cidofovir and brencidofovir may also be used. Reports of risk of death if untreated is high as 10 to 11% in Congo Basin or Central African clade of monkeypox. Empirical antibiotic therapy or acyclovir may be used if secondary bacterial or varicella zoster infection is suspected, respectively. Now, few words about 2022 outbreak. The outbreak which is shaking the world nowadays. The ongoing outbreak of monkeypox was confirmed on 6th May 2022, beginning with a British resident who, after traveling from Nigeria, where the disease is endemic, that is the Western African clade, presented symptoms consistent with monkeypox on 29th April 2022. The resident returned to UK on 4th May, creating the country's index case of the outbreak. Since then, more than 400 confirmed or suspected cases have emerged in at least 20 non-African countries, which include Canada, Portugal, where 74 cases, Spain, where 98 cases, and United Kingdom, the largest outbreak of monkeypox ever outside Africa. The situation is tricky because monkeypox virus has emerged in separate populations across multiple countries, and there is no obvious link between many of the clusters, raising the possibility of link back to a single case with a thorough epidemiological investigation. Another explanation cannot be ruled out, which is by Gustavo Plesios, a virologist in New York City, and he says that it is possible that virus was already circulating undetected outside Africa in humans or animals introduced during early outbreaks. This hypothesis, however, is less likely because the monkeypox virus usually causes visible skin lesions on people's body. So there is nothing as the dormant or sleeping stage of the virus, which would probably be brought to attention to a physician whenever it occurs. Most cases which are detected in this outbreak is among men, mainly below 40 years, and who were mainly gay in their sexual preference, which is again a unique feature of epidemiology. The virus has a low fatality ratio, that is 1 to 3%, and most people recover within 3 to 4 weeks. Is there a genetic change in the virus which is explained in this latest outbreak? The researchers are still struggling to characterize precisely which genes are responsible for higher virulence and transmissibility of Central African clade as compared to the Western African clade, but 17 years have elapsed in discovering these two strains, and still there is no big progress. The monkeypox genome is enormous relative to many other RNA viruses and 6 times as large as genome for SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus. That means that it is 6 times harder to detect these genes. Can the outbreak be contained? Since the current outbreak began, some nations have been procuring a smallpox vaccine, and which is thought to be highly effective against monkeypox because it is a related virus. Unlike vaccines against COVID-19, which take up to two weeks to offer full protection, a smallpox vaccine is thought to protect against monkeypox infection if administered within 4 days of exposure, because virus has a long incubation period. And according to US Central of, this is according to CDC Atlanta, Georgia. If deployed, the vaccine would probably be applied using a ring vaccination strategy, which means to inoculate the close contacts of the infected person. It might also be worth considering vaccinating groups at higher risk of infection in addition to close contacts of infected patient. Is the virus spreading differently now compared to previous outbreaks? There is a rising speculation that virus has evolved to become more adaptive as sexual transmission. But one thing I have mentioned before, that it spreads through the bodily secretions. So since there is an exchange of bodily secretion in sexual intercourse, so this is a possibility. The most likely explanation of virus spreading among men, sex with men group, is that virus was coincidentally introduced into the community and now it's continuing its spread there. So what about Pakistan? For Pakistan, the punchline or the message is nothing to panic, as no case of monkeypox has yet been reported. Nothing to panic, and we are still in the safer zone. So far, the infection claimed no life along the globe, but since the global hue and cry started, high alert was notified in Pakistan as well. So this brings an end to this brief lecture, and I hope this lecture was helpful in understanding the monkeypox and removing your panic regarding the index cases in Pakistan. Thank you very much and have a very good day.